system and the society at large. We'll be looking at how mothers can get this support and, of course, the benefits of breastfeeding to both the child and mother. That'll be coming after we take you through what's in the news. It was a day to share experiences and see how the future of every child with cerebral palsy can be brighter. Individuals with the condition and their family members, medical experts and some members of the public are in this hall at the instance of Benola Initiative to look at the stigma, the fears and the reality surrounding cerebral palsy, a disorder of movement, muscle tone or posture that is caused by injury or abnormal development in the immature brain, most often before birth.
Drugs we take, things that happen, infections that happen during that developing period, from the first month of pregnancy right up to 5 years of life, can, in theory, and actually cause cerebral palsy. Now, this is new information, but not new, you know this already. Before, we thought that once the brain was formed, that's it, done, it's formed. So if damage occurs, nothing else can happen. But what we know now is that although, for instance, neurogenesis, that's new cell formation, although it peaks during pregnancy, when the woman is pregnant, it actually continues. In other words, there is a potential for something to happen even after a damage. So the point is, even after damage, you can still potentially stimulate the brain to function. It may not function to 100%, all right, but there is a potential.
On the international scene, new clinical protocol and guidelines to enable effective mental health care for adults and children exposed to trauma and loss have been released by the World Health Organization. Using the new protocol, which is co-published with the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, primary healthcare workers can offer basic psychosocial support to refugees as well as people exposed to trauma or loss in other situations. Types of support offered can include psychological first aid, stress management and helping affected people to identify and strengthen positive coping methods and social support. Mental disorders are common, disabling and usually untreated, and the World Health Organization's Mental Health Global Action Program was developed in 2008 to scale up care for mental, neurological and substance use disorders with simple treatment protocols. The WHO recommends training and supervision to make these techniques more widely available. In other news, researchers have reported the first case of human-to-human transmission of the new strain of bird flu that has emerged in China. The British Medical Journal said a 32-year-old woman was infected after caring for her father. Unlike her father, who had visited a poultry market in the week before falling ill, she had no known exposure to live poultry but fell ill 6 days after her last contact with him. Both died in intensive care of multiple organ failure. Tests on the virus taken from both patients showed the strains were almost genetically identical, which supports the theory that the daughter was infected directly from her father rather than another source. Until now, there has been no evidence of anyone catching the H7N9 virus other than after direct contact with birds. But experts stress it does not mean the virus has developed the ability to spread easily between humans. China, Vietnam, Malaysia and some other countries have ordered the immediate recall and a halt to circulation of a milk powder manufactured by Fonterra after New Zealand authorities said some of the protein concentrate produced there was found to be contaminated. Fonterra's chief executive Theo Sparings, who apologized in Beijing for the distress caused because of a scare over the contaminated product, said the latest problem originated in a pipe in the company's factory in New Zealand that was seldom used and a normal cleaning was not sufficient to sanitize it. Fonterra discovered in March that some whey protein concentrate produced and sold to customers in May 2012 had been contaminated. It immediately began testing, but as most of the bacterial strains are benign, the company did not find the harmful strain until July. Customers were then informed on July 31st. There have been no reports of illness resulting from the affected product. However, parents in these countries are wary about the Fonterra infant formula. And finally, treating tiny benign tumors in the adrenal glands may prevent huge numbers of cases of high blood pressure. The team of researchers at the University of Cambridge and Adam Brooks Hospital think that up to 10% of cases may be caused by the growth. Researchers had already found that large growths in the adrenal glands, which sits on the kidneys and produce hormones, could raise blood pressure. Now, the researchers in Cambridge have found that much smaller growth in a different part of the glands are producing the same effect. The study, published in Nature Genetics, said young patients could be freed from a lifetime of medication. High blood pressure can have fatal consequences as it increases the risk of heart attacks and stroke. It is said that most cases are caused by lifestyle choices such as smoking and diet. If every child was breastfed within an hour of birth, given only breast milk for their first 6 months of life, and continued breastfeeding up to the age of 2 years, the World Health Organization said 220,000 child lives will be saved every year. Worldwide, less than 40% of infants under 6 months of age are exclusively breastfed. The figures are lower in Nigeria, ranging from 13 to 18%. How can the situation be improved? In a moment, I'll be speaking with the coordinator of Child Health Advocacy Initiative, Mrs. Lola Alunge. Thank you so much for speaking with us on Health News.
Thank you, my pleasure being here.
Okay, and it's been breastfeeding all around the world. And why is the need for this?
Well, the 1st to 7th of every year is set aside. 1st to 7th of August every year set aside to focus on World Breastfeeding. And that's obviously because of the importance. It's enormous to the mother, to the child. We first of all say something like breast milk is the best food for the child. It's the best gift for the child. It's the best investment for the child. So why not feed your baby with the breast milk?
Okay, and the attention is actually on giving support to mothers to be able to achieve this. But let's start first. The act of breastfeeding. When a mother, carries the child and just after birth and she tries to feed the baby, there's this very yellowish milk that comes out. It doesn't look like the normal breast milk that comes out later. So tell us about it, this colostrum.
Yeah, the issue is when you give birth to your baby, within the first hour of birth, you must put that baby to breast. And when you do that, the first liquid that comes out is yellowish and it's called colostrum. That's the kind of first antibody, first protection you can give to your baby. And you must make sure the baby takes it. And after that, you leave your baby to the breast and let the baby continue to suckle, and then the milk will flow normally. With that, you're sure your baby has taken a good immunity from birth. And then when you continue to breastfeed up to 6 months, exclusively without water, that is the campaign, the baby will get the enormous benefit of being very strong, being very healthy, bonding with you, saving you money. And then you can always see, even being intelligent, so many advantages. They even say things like the mother even has its own